Hi everyone, it's Carolyn here to share another message, but this time it's not a channeled message. I just have some thoughts about the end of the year and the coming new year of 2020. So today I'm going to give you some things to consider as we move forward into the end of the year and into the new year. And this is not about setting resolutions. It's about looking at doing that differently and how moving into 2020 is such an important time. So thank you so much for joining me today. I'm Carolyn Zaiser. I'm a channel, I'm a spiritual awakening mentor, and I'm a distance energy healer. And I offer these channels and these messages for your awakening and ascension journey. So I hope you enjoyed today's message. So for those of you who are new to my channel, below in the description box, there is a video that is 6 tips on how to create flow in your body for health and wellness. Our vessel is so important for us during this awakening journey. What it will also do is lead you to more free content, which includes a weekly channel that I offer to my audience. So with that, today, thank you again for joining me, and I'm going to get going on this topic. And I'm entitling it, How to Show Up. How do you want to show up in 2020? Well, why am I doing this now, right before the U.S. holiday of Thanksgiving? Primarily because, you know what? We don't really think too far out about how we do want to show up, about what we wish to do for the new year. And, we can argue all day long about, oh, that's future. There is no future. There's time. We should be in the now moment. I do agree in how we live day to day. But as we come to the end of a year, we typically, as a community, a world community, see this as a big event. And energetically, it is, because we've made it that way. So how are we going to participate, particularly those of us going through the awakening? We are going through this time now for a reason. There's good reason why we're first wavers. Those of us who are either moving through this in a warp speed way or really moving through this now, starting early, and now you're hitting your height. There's a large group of us moving through now because guess what? We're getting ready to support everybody else coming from behind. I don't care where you are in this awakening journey. You're still a forerunner. If you just started yesterday and this is your first video on the awakening, guess what? You're here to help and to help yourself. So today what I want to do is just give you some thoughts about how you can move forward into 2020, things you can consider, and things I'm considering in my own journey or have considered. So I hope this helps you be thoughtful about how we move toward the end of the year, rather than as we typically do, which is me included, on New Year's Eve, I'm like, what do I want to do for the new year, and how do I want to present myself? Because the new year, as much as we don't want to necessarily think of it this way, energetically, humankind has created it as a new opportunity. So I would say, take advantage of it. So how are you going to do that? Here are some things that I want to share. First and foremost, my spirit team always says, my angels and guides and my higher self and my whole crew always says in my sessions is work on yourself first and foremost. Because if you're not strong in yourself, and we're always growing, but if we're not centered in ourselves, taking care of ourselves, doing the things that help ourselves, how can we be there for others, right? So we can do this at the same time that we're assisting others, that we're putting ourselves out there for others. But you've got to be sure that you are giving to yourself as much as you give to others. And I see so many people who are not, and we end up then losing ourselves. So I would say first and foremost is take a look at your own journey. Where can you pick one thing? Not that turns into a resolution that, oh, I have to do this every single day, and that then it all falls apart. But what is something you want to improve upon? Like, do you want to go learn something new that has piqued your interest? Don't just set that aside. You can do it too. Pick that, go learn it. What can you do to help your physical and mental self? Maybe it's meditation. I talk a lot about meditation because I find it to be a foundation of the awakening journey. Maybe you'll be able to find a way to actually now meditate instead of saying, that's not for me. Sitting down and just starting. Go take a class and stick with it, because you can do anything that you see anybody else online doing. Understand that we can get ourselves so wrapped up in, oh, that person's a YouTube sensation, and that only those people that you see online that have huge audiences can do these things. That is not true. Every single person can do many or most of these things that we see others doing. It's just how people have gone about making this happen. So what I would suggest you do is stop looking out online for trying to figure out who the stars are that you need to follow and do exactly like. Be your own star. Pick something you want to learn. And yes, you can get inspired from those online. You can get ideas from those online on how to do things, but you're your own creator. So start creating now. Pick that one thing. So I could do a whole video on this topic, as you can tell. So again, pick the one thing that you feel that you could start working on to improve yourself. And then you're going to see, as you start working on that one thing, you're going to want to do more. And remember, don't measure yourself against others. You're still a first waver. You're in that first wave of those awakening. That is something to applaud and to be aware of, because you're here to help. But first and foremost, we got to help ourselves. All right, so that's one of the first things. So another thing is, how do you want to show up for others? Now, I just want to amend that a bit, that comment, because there are many of us who give so much to others and we don't give anything to ourselves. That is an issue, okay, for a lot of people. So what I would say to you is, set this aside if you know you're one of those that overgives, because typically we know if you're drained, if you're not feeling good, if you're emotionally spent, you know the signs. Step back, give to yourself always first, okay? And then start saying, where can I show up for others? Now, simply put, where can I show up for others in the awakening? Many of us think that there are only experts out there to actually go to understand the awakening. That's not true. We all have our experiences. I don't care if you've just started. You can still help someone, because guess what? You're starting out. Maybe somebody needs a friend that's just starting out too in the awakening to talk about things. Your experiences are your experiences, and you can share those on how you got through this, or what you learned from this, or this magical thing that happened to you. And online is your best friend. You can go, the mere fact that you might make a beautiful comment to somebody on a Facebook page that is focused on the awakening, or some kind of commentary on a group that you're in that has to do with this growth, this spiritual growth that is helping somebody in great need, you're participating. You're helping another light worker. So remember that even those little things that we discount so often are super helpful. Maybe you can do something like that every single day. Make a point of, when you're online, you look to the person who may need your support, and then give your opinion, give your ideas, give your love, even if you just give beautiful emojis. Let me use this as an example. So I have beautiful people that follow me. You guys follow me, right? But what I love are your comments and the things that you share about your journey, because I'm still learning too. And these lovely emojis that you add and all these things, just those alone, that's a spark of goodness for somebody else's life. So know that those little things you do make a difference. So showing up next year, how do you want to show up for others? Because lots of times we think we have nothing to contribute. Oh, yes, you do. Everybody has an amazing life journey. And ultimately, that's what takes us all forward, by sharing our own journeys and helping others. So those are two things, yourself and others. How do you want to participate moving forward with yourself and others into 2020? Okay, so here are a couple other tips. Stop worrying about what others think. So many of us in the awakening are worried about family members thinking we're crazy, friends who don't understand us anymore, feeling as though we don't fit in. We can get really wrapped up in that, because for so long, many of us have looked to others for our validation. That's done. That's done. That's what the awakening's about, is realizing we don't need other people's validation to continue to move forward. And the more you're strong in yourself and realize, I'm going through something real here that most people are not going to understand. And you know what? That's okay. And you know what? I'm going to speak to people about what I feel comfortable speaking about. Yeah, they're probably not always going to understand, but I'm going to speak my truth. Now, one thing I will say is we quickly learn where it makes sense for us to do that in the awakening. Most of us have gone through a situation where in the beginning of the journey, we were so excited and we just go blah to everyone, and they just look at us like we're crazy. And many of us have had people that maybe don't want anything to do with us now. And we get past that and we learn from that and we learn how to express ourselves. But also we learn how to participate with others who aren't going through the awakening, because we're all timed on this. This is a situation where, we came out of our little eggshell at a certain time for a certain reason. Not to fully isolate ourselves and say, okay, that group's never again for me, meaning everybody who's not awakening, because we're here to participate. But the point being is, stop worrying about what others think about what you're going through, okay? You can't really look to others to help you through the awakening journey that they don't understand. Now, they may be supportive in the sense that they're probably not going to talk about it a lot. They still love you. They still care for you. Some are, even family members may disassociate from you. You got to know this is what's going to happen potentially, all right? But you're going to find a whole new community of friends, so stop worrying about what other people think. Stop whipping the drama up into that and just keep doing your thing. Keep doing your thing, and then people are going to see from the heart of you, the soul of you, the beauty of you, what is going on. You're opening up into a more soulful being, someone who is more caring to yourself and to others and who has a greater open consciousness. And then that becomes contagious, whether you know it or not. So stand strong in yourself. Do not worry about what other people think about you. And when you start doing that, you are going to change everything on your path forward. Now, that said, the next one is almost counter to what I just said. Step out and share your journey. But this has to do with how you're going to show up for others, all right? That doesn't mean you have to do something elaborate. Like I said, step out and share your journey where it makes sense. Now, I'm going to tell you from my own journey, I still don't know how to talk about fully what I do in Purple Rain Healing to family and friends that I see and that don't know at all what I'm doing. I need an elevator speech. And I mean, it really makes me laugh because I've been doing this for 3 years. I have no problem talking about it with all of you. But when it comes to somebody who knew me in my, say, corporate career before all this, friends who knew me before this, and now are like, where are you working? I just kind of go, Now I've gotten better at that and I'm kind of exaggerating, but you will find your way through this. So you'll be able to start talking about what you're doing. And there are ways to share learnings that you have in the awakening without having to say, I'm going through spiritual awakening and here's blah. They're going to see your light. They're going to feel the difference in you when they're around you. It is unspoken, and I'm going to tell you that. We share our light. So just understand that how you share your journey may be completely unspoken. You don't have to go out and do the human blah dump thing. Just by being with others, being in your soulful space, you're sharing with others. And that light is shared to help spark their little pilot light. So think about that as you move forward in the rest of the year, and then as you're moving into 2020. How are you going to share your journey? What ways can you show your light? And then something else I want to mention for you to keep in mind as you move into the new year. We all participate differently in this. Now, I realize going online and seeking out people to learn from is a really important part of this process. I mean, obviously, I'm out here for a reason, so you can continue to learn, but I also learn from you guys. So my point is that's not the only way to show up. There are many different ways to participate. Another thing I would say is I know, and we've all been there are struggles throughout this journey. But I'm going to ask you now to not wallow in them, because we are all going through tough stuff, but it's how you meet that tough stuff in the awakening. If you can continue to move through it and start seeing that this is all about the beauty and the grace that is continuing to come my way, elevating me into a higher place, and not wallow yourself down in kind of the woe is me through the whole journey, because guess what? That's where you're going to stay. And what I would say to you is I know there are a lot of physical and emotional issues that show up. We're clearing a lot. We're changing our relationships. But if you can shift out of that low gear that oftentimes the human will stick you down in and keep you there during the awakening, and all you're doing is looking to others for answers, and move yourself out of that to find the spark of beauty in this, the spark of something you want to do, the spark of, I'm going to take control of my journey. I'm going to move with the awakening, and I'm going to participate rather than letting it be done to me. Everything changes. Every single thing changes. It's about taking control, taking an active role as a participant in your awakening, because as you participate, guess what? The awakening shows up. Your spirit team shows up. You keep moving forward and you move together. It is a vibrational match. If you stick down here, your awakening is going to keep kicking you, okay? Because this is how it works. It's going to keep kicking you because it's wanting you to come along, okay? And as you come along, it comes along. You come along, it comes along. But I'm telling you right now, you don't want to stay in low vibration. Now, I may sound kind of tough about this, but you have a choice. You have a choice to help yourself move out of much of this. Create something new. Start building something new. I don't care how small you think it is. Build something new. Start a new hobby, something that brings you joy. Go do something different. Start creating your life. Build your own life. Build your new life with the awakening. Even these small steps. I could do a whole video on this, and I probably should, or maybe I have. But the thing is, as you do this, your vibration starts to rise. You're taking a hold of your own life, your own awakening journey. And then guess what? You get to participate even further, because as your vibration raises, so do others that are around you. You're going to find you're going to attract people more of that like vibration rather than staying down in that place of low vibration. I believe the awakening is very much about us coming along for the journey, not being victims and continually looking outside of ourselves for shift and change and answers. So look within. How can you participate in 2020 in the way of looking for the beauty and the things that you can do that will assist yourself and that will allow you to keep moving forward in this awakening journey and match the awakening journey? And then lastly, and this kind of goes to one of the earlier ones, don't compare yourself to others. Do not compare yourself to others. Now, I'm going to also say, yeah, you go online and you learn from others about what to expect about the awakening journey, about what can come out of it, what we can do to kind of get ourselves through some of this. But don't let it define you. Don't let other people's journey define you. There are so many opportunities out there to grow into what you really want to become and start manifesting what you really want out of your life, because it can be. The awakening cracks you open to allow you to start becoming all you can be. So you want to start taking advantage of that and chart your own course. Start doing that. Start seeing that, guess what? I can be anything I want to be. I can do anything I want to do. And when you start believing that, it starts happening. And you get paired with your spirit team who helps you along in your vibration as you continue to realize I can create anything. One of the main things that my spirit team tells people, particularly those who want to be some kind of healer, they've said there are as many healing modalities as there are individuals on this earth, because we're all creators. What you wish to create can be. So stop comparing yourself to others. Create what you want. Believe it can be, even if you've never heard of it before. It can happen. So lastly, we need you. We need every single person who is a forerunner waking up right now to participate as we move into 2020, because 2020, we are going to have the multitudes wake up in ways we can't imagine. Now, maybe you're not going to hear about it. You're going to wait for this big event that's going to occur, and then all these people are going to wake up. It's going to happen in stages. We're going to see it in 2020. Vibration is shifting and changing. The energies will continue to change, but there is going to continue to be this huge group of people awakening. We've seen it in 2019. Just in the last 4 or 5 months, I have seen a huge shift occur. And we are going to, in 2020, see the energy shift and change. Events are going to occur that are going to wake up masses of humanity. And guess what? They need all of you. They need every single one of you who's sitting here right now listening to this to be able to participate in whatever way that means for you. How can you make that happen? So be thinking about this now as we enter the end of our year, which is energetically a hugely important time. As much as you may want to think, well, it's just time and it doesn't really exist. We have made it important. It is energetically important. And with the solstice coming up on December 22nd, we have energies that are running rampant now through the end of the year and entering the new year. So with that, be thinking and get excited about your journey into 2020 and how you're here as a forerunner to help others moving forward in their awakening journey. And of course, helping yourself continue to grow in that as well. So with that, I hope you have enjoyed this video and it helps set you up for really having some time to consider where you're headed as we move forward, because this is your journey. How do you want to show up? So thank you so much for joining me today. And as always, I'll remind you of purplerainhealing.com, where my services are listed of spiritual awakening mentoring, distance energy healing, and channeled messages, where I can help launch you forward in your awakening journey. And what better way to do that as we enter the end of the year and move into the new year. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.